Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm your host.
And I'm your resident expert. Really excited to be here for this one.
Yeah, me too. So, today our mission for this deep dive is to explore a major public health crisis,
Right.
specifically campus loneliness and social isolation. And, we're going to look at how a surprisingly simple grassroots movement is not only solving it, but acting as this incredible laboratory for modern leadership.
It really is.
But first, picture this. You are packed onto a campus with like 40,000 other people your exact age.
Just everywhere you look.
Exactly, living shoulder to shoulder, yet you have literally never felt more invisible.
Yeah.
Think about that transition into university life. The car is unpacked, your family drives away, and you are standing in this, tiny cinder block dorm room.
The classic cinder block room.
Right. And outside the window, thousands of people are bustling around. It gives this illusion of a tight-knit community. But internally, that psychological shock is just setting in. You've just left behind a support network that took 18 years to build.
18 years.
And
yeah.
you're dropped into one of the most intense, competitive, and really transient environments imaginable.
Well, it's a very specific, deeply disorienting kind of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because to be surrounded by a sea of peers and still feel entirely unseen, it's a jarring paradox for anyone.
Oh, absolutely.
And what we're looking at today in the source material is how that initial shock of homesickness, it often calcifies into something much more dangerous.
Right. It's not just missing home.
Exactly. It acts as the starting point for a systemic issue on college campuses. Profound loneliness isn't just a feeling.
Yeah.
It's actually a physiological state that triggers what the source calls a brutal two-way street.
A brutal two-way street. Okay, let's get into that.
So lonelier individuals tend to be far less physically active.
Makes sense.
Right, they withdraw. But that inactivity degrades both their physical and mental health.
Which just makes everything worse.
Exactly. And then that very inactivity isolates them even further. The walls literally close in.
Wow. So you don't go out, you don't move, your mental health dips, and you just feel even lonelier.
It's a self-reinforcing trap.
But wait, I have to ask, aren't universities literally built around varsity sports and massive athletic programs? Why aren't those fixing the problem?
That's a great point.
Like, you literally cannot walk 10 minutes without hitting a massive stadium or a rec center. It's like dying of thirst while being completely surrounded by locked water bottles.
Locked water bottles. That is the perfect way to frame it.
Right?
Because yes, varsity sports rely on fixed coaches and rigid selection criteria.
So they're super exclusive.
Completely exclusive by design. If you aren't in the top 1% of performers, the system has no place for you.
Well, yeah.
It leaves the vast majority of students entirely excluded, just watching from the sidelines.
Okay, so relying on the institution to fix this from the top down is just a losing battle.
Right. The solution really has to come from the bottom up.
Which brings us to the grassroots movement we're talking about today.
Yeah.
These peer-led, student-organized, recreational running clubs. And we're just talking about a few people jogging on a Tuesday.
No, not at all.
The source mentions they are cultivating a totally new breed of student leader, calling them pace setters and trailblazers.
Yeah. And they're earning those titles by performing this really brilliant structural magic trick.
Ooh, magic trick. Tell me.
Well, they're dismantling the traditional power pyramids.
Okay.
Think about the varsity model we just talked about. The coach sits at the top, dictates the pace, the strategy, the roster. It's totally static.
Very rigid.
But in these peer-led groups, leadership is incredibly fluid. It's situational.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because it reminds me of, like, a jazz ensemble.
Oh, a jazz ensemble. I like that.
Yeah, because instead of a symphony with a strict top-down conductor, everyone in the jazz group seamlessly takes turns stepping forward for a solo.
Yes.
And then they step back. They share the momentum.
What's fascinating here is that this creates distributed ownership.
Distributed ownership.
Right. Think about how these runs actually operate. The source details how, on any given day, a complete novice like someone who just bought their first pair of running shoes might step up to map out a scenic route through campus.
So the beginner is leading the navigation.
Exactly. And then the very next day, an incredibly experienced athlete willingly acts as the sweeper.
The sweeper, like staying at the back.
Yes, anchoring the back of the pack to make absolutely sure no one gets left behind.
Wow. That's a total inversion of normal sports logic.
Completely.
Usually being at the back means you're failing, but here, the strongest runner is the safety net.
Right. They transform the rear from a place of shame into a place of support.
That's awesome.
And while all that's happening, you might have a third peer leader stepping up just to facilitate the warm-up stretches.
Just managing the safety and the group energy.
Exactly. This teaches them how to lead through service, and it builds confidence without official titles, which honestly mirrors the modern matrix workplace much better than, say, traditional classroom group projects.
Oh, for sure. So because they have this fluid, distributed leadership structure, it forces a return to a really raw face-to-face style of interaction, right?
Yes, entirely separate from the screens that usually dominate student life.
So they basically have to read the room, or rather, read the road.
Right, it's what we call kinetic communication.
Kinetic communication. Because it's starting before the run even begins in the pre-run huddle.
Exactly. The leader has to instantly gauge the group's energy.
Like if it's midterms, right? The source points out that if everyone is burned out, an empathetic leader will instantly pivot.
Yep. They switch from a tough tempo run to a gentle recovery jog.
And they're reading physical cues during the run, too.
Right, like labored breathing, drooping shoulders, or a lagging stride.
Plus the logistics, using hand signals for traffic and modifying the route for steep hills.
It's a lot to manage.
But here's where it gets really interesting. I want to push back slightly. We're talking about running, right? How exactly does checking on someone's breathing or stride translate to real-world emotional intelligence?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a profound shift.
How so?
The empathetic shift goes from asking, how fast can we go, to how are we feeling?
Oh, wow.
Right. And managing that requires a leader to rapidly switch hats.
What do you mean?
Well, in the span of a few minutes, they have to deliver motivational hype to get up a hill.
Yeah.
Then drop back and offer calm reassurance to a struggling runner.
Just completely changing their tone.
Exactly. And then provide sharp logistical clarity for crossing a busy intersection.
So they're switching between hype, empathy, and logistics, all while physically exhausting themselves.
Yes. It is an absolute masterclass in adaptive communication.
Okay, that makes total sense. And that high-level emotional intelligence directly fuels the cultural outcome of these groups.
It really does.
It creates a total shift in how success and support are defined. Which brings us to this idea of horizontal, unconditional encouragement.
Yes, moving sideways.
Right. Unlike coach-led sports where praise flows downward based on your performance, here, the praise moves sideways.
And it's unconditional.
Yeah, the source gives some great specific details on this. Like the collective roar from the group when the absolute slowest runner finishes the loop.
Which is such a powerful image.
It is. Or the unspoken agreement to just slow down the overall pace because one member is having a tough mental health day.
Prioritizing the person over the pace.
Exactly. And the leaders even share their own bad run stories to normalize vulnerability.
Breaking down that illusion of perfection.
But so what does this all mean?
Right.
Because if you take away the pressure of achieving a personal best, doesn't the group kind of lose its edge or its purpose?
No, not at all. The purpose hasn't been lost, it's just been reframed.
Reframed to what?
To showing up for each other. When you feel the intense physical strain of a 5K, your lungs are burning.
Yeah, your brain is normally screaming to stop.
Exactly. But when you're hearing a chorus of peers yelling, "You've got this," and "great form,"
What happened?
your brain actually rewires physical exertion into a social reward.
Wait, really? It rewires the brain?
Yes. The physical pain is overridden by a flood of dopamine and oxytocin from the peer support.
Oh, wow. So you associate the sweat and effort with belonging instead of punishment.
Exactly. And that directly breaks the vicious cycle of isolation and inactivity we talked about at the start.
The two-way street.
You break it completely. The student craves the movement because they crave the connection.
That is just incredible. So to sum this all up, these recreational running clubs are basically miniature democracies in motion.
I love that phrase.
They prove that the best leaders empower others. That effective communication means listening with your eyes just as much as your ears.
Absolutely.
And that strong communities rely on mutual horizontal support.
Out in the open, not behind a stadium gate.
Right. So if you are listening to this right now and you are feeling isolated on campus or anywhere really,
Yeah.
don't wait for an official invitation. Step up. Organize a walk and run group. Chart new pathways for connection because nobody has to navigate university life alone.
And this raises an important question for all of us.
What's that?
Well, if this simple act of synchronized physical movement combined with peer support can completely rewire our brains to combat isolation,
Yeah.
what other highly structured, lonely areas of our modern lives could be completely transformed?
Oh, like what?
Like remote corporate work environments.
Oh, totally.
Or digital activism.
Yeah.
Spaces where we are siloed behind screens. What if we moved away from top-down management in those spaces and found a way to, metaphorically, run alongside each other?
Wow. How do we build that horizontal encouragement everywhere else? That is a fantastic thought to leave on.
It's a big challenge for the modern world.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
And to you listening, if this resonated, pass it along to a friend. Keep pacing, stay connected, and keep moving forward. We'll see you next time.